3, 2, 1. Hey, what is up, Nan Fan here? Never done this before, but I kind of want to start recording of how I edit or fine tune some of my photos in Lightroom, maybe in Photoshop too, but we see how this plays out. So I still got buttloads of photos from Pikes Peak, always starting from the first day of practice to race day, but most likely I'm just going to work on that practice session from Tuesday, which is the first day of practice for me, was at Devil's Playground. As you can see, I'm using Parsec. I'm on my laptop right now, but I'm going to be using Parsec to jump on my server. That's where I have all my photos and everything else from there too. I already gone through the whole reel for the first day and just selected some photos that are considered candidates for editing and just to keep, and for portfolio purposes, and lastly and ultimately sell them as prints. With that said, the print website is hosted by Zenfolio. It is up, but I don't have anything right now. Hopefully these photos will be one of the first sets that will be on there for sale. Trying to make these prints accessible to everybody in regards to price point. Not trying to make $100-$200 per print. But maybe in the future might do some type of limited run prints where we get signatures from let's say from the drivers or whoever I'm collaborating with, but that's way down the road. All right, so let's get to it. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, whatever, please put them in the comment section below. I am not a Lightroom expert of any sort, but I just wanted to show people what I go through to make these edits, and some of the decisions, back and forth decisions, or conflicts I have in my head to make these images appear how I want it to appear. Now, granted, I gone through some of these photos before and published them with the team already. You've probably seen some of them already on my Instagram page or even Facebook. Is that the only one that has it? Okay. Anyways, let's get to it. So, I did one earlier today. There's this one with Randy Pope's Tesla over here. And I will show you the before and after. It wasn't really too much with this photo, to be quite honest. I mean, the stock photo, I thought it looked pretty good, to be quite honest. You're gonna find out my style quite a bit, and I'm not too sure if I want to show you everything, because at the end of the day, I want everyone to have their own style. Granted, we could be influenced or inspired by other people, and hopefully I inspire somebody out there too that's watching this. But I don't think it should be a carbon copy of anything. I would hate to carbon copy somebody. But I like to say there's other photographers and artists out there inspiring me in regards to their aesthetics. So with that being said, back to this photo. So I thought the stock photo that came right out of the camera looks pretty good to begin with, to be quite honest. But I just darkened this a little bit, brought out the subject, which is the car, and added a couple areas where like the clouds or the sky area, it was really bland, so I put a hue over here. I think it was more towards a yellowish color, and then darken this corner up here. So but let's find a photo to start editing. That one's okay, I like it, but not really screaming to me. I really like this photo. Granted, I'm going to stick everything in Lightroom, but You know, these sticks are kind of killing me, but fortunately it's narrow enough and it's not like right over here to right dead smack in the middle of a car, so I will let it go. But let's get this going. So what I usually like to do, let's close this out real quick. I like to bring down my blacks a little bit. That's just how I operate. And I usually start around like a -15, -10 around there. I don't want to crush them too much. And just like I said, I'm not a Lightroom expert, so you know, people might jump into curves first. I probably would sometimes, depending how I'm feeling, or depending of what I can't or can achieve with these sliders. So what I'm trying to do here is bring down some of the highlights down this area, right down here. There's a couple of different ways, but that's how I'm going to target those highlights. I'm going to use a mask to work on a car to bring up the brightness to separate the car from the background itself too. I always like a little bit of clarity. I would start at 15. I don't like overdoing it. And then let's start working with the mask. So I'm going to select the subject. I think Lightroom's been this recent addition of these masks, especially where they could pick up the car, the background, and things like that. It's a game changer in Lightroom. Before you have a brush and then you just dabble, you know, with the brush, and it gets kind of messy. But you know, this new auto masking is just a lifesaver. So we're gonna zoom in a little bit over here. So what I'm gonna do, I want to remove some of this. You know, trying to be a little bit precise. I know it's not gonna be 100% or not even 95%, but if I could get closer to that 100% number, I'm all for it. And I'm not gonna do this whole set here for this first go. There's a lot of photos in here. I don't want to bore anyone to death. However, if this is something you like seeing, I will consider it doing, you know, longer videos or you know, longer sessions and things like that. So while feeling too rude. Try and get as precise as possible on this car. Alright, so zoom out, and then what we're gonna do is just pop the exposure a little bit, just let's say 0.15, and then let's see what happens. And then let's target the background. So I'm going to do another mask. I'm going to do select subject. And then I'm going to, actually what we're going to do is, yeah, I'm still trying to figure all this out too in a way. So right now, if it's black, nothing's selected, but we're going to, still trying to figure out my workflow. So let's say select subject. Okay, you know what? My bad. Then we go into invert mask. Boom. Got him. And then I'm going to add. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to. Well, actually, let's just keep going. I was thinking about having the sky as a separate layer. But maybe once I bring down the exposure a little bit. No, I mean, I didn't mean to do that far, but. So just, and then let's try to bring the saturation up a little bit. Gives the rock some colors. Right now it's kind of grayish. Let's stay right there. Close this out. So what I like to do, I like to use this gradient to cause some I guess you could say vignetting, but to also to create focus too. But I don't want to overdo it too much. And the reason why I think this will work, just because this area is already kind of dark, and maybe we could scoot this up a tad bit. And then right down here, so you notice I did a slash angle like this. I like to do the same thing down at the bottom too. Drop that exposure down a tad bit, just a little bit. Maybe it's at 0.5, negative 0.5. Let's just back that out a little bit to negative 0.4, and that's it. So let's do it before and after. I know there were really simple changes, but there you go. You're gonna tell I like darker photos. It's just a vibe that's going on right now. I don't know, give it a month or two, then it's gonna be a total opposite. So I'm gonna rate that as a 5, and I like it. You know what, I'm gonna think, let me just pump up the whites just a tad bit. Just a little bit. I might come back to this, but for the most part, I'm pretty happy with it for right now. Let's try find another photo that's interesting. That's the photo Andy Kingsley. I was shooting for his team. Already delivered this photo, but this is what the final product. If you're kind of curious what the before picture was, there you go. Like I mentioned, I kind of like my photos or images to be a bit moody nowadays. I exaggerate the shadows here quite a bit, and I removed some of the blues from the car, hence why it's a lot. I don't want to say crisp photo, but I'm gonna stick with that adjective right now. But might get back to you on that once I find a better word. So, but yeah. All right, CEO. Let's find another different car. I already done a whole bunch of Andy's cars. I really like this truck. Just keep on finding that. Ooh. I'm coming back to it. I just want to make sure. All right, let's work this truck. I forget who's the driver of this truck, but it's pretty gnarly. It's a diesel compound turbo, just all around awesome. Like I said, I like to bring the blacks down a little bit. I know probably saying you're crushing the blacks, but that's just my style. So I'm going to bring down the highlights a tad bit, just a smidge. The reason why I'm going to go back take one step back. This part's kind of a little bright, just a tad bit. I'm just gonna just punch, tap it down a little bit. Maybe go to -10 or 15. Let's just leave it there. And like I mentioned, this is all personal preferences. Let's just punch clarity around 15. And from there, let's do the same thing. Let's work. I might use the brush over here in the shadow area to exaggerate the shadows a little bit, but that's going to be near the end. So let's work the background. To tell the truth, I don't really think this photo needs a lot of help. So you probably noticed I clicked on this masking tool, select subject, but what we're going to do, right click, we're going to go invert. So we select the background and let's drop down the exposure just a tad bit. I don't want to go too far down. Maybe let's go, I might have to punch this in manually, -0.15. And let's just go check how it was before. This after. Before. After. Not too shabby. And then let's work the shadows a bit. I just don't see anything on my computer. Maybe my computer's a little slow. Let's check. Not too sure what's going on. Oops. All right. Crank the saturation a tad bit here. Yeah, I know what the hell's going on. Oh, nothing's going on because I didn't select that freaking layer. Sorry about that. I was wondering what the heck was going on. Shadows down a little bit. And then tab it up. I think I'm just gonna leave that photo there. I know it's a really simple edit, but I think the light was soft enough, and everything just worked out pretty well, to be quite honest. So sorry. I know you're looking for a little bit more excitement maybe, but let's try to find a different one. Let's look for a different angle. You know what? I have one in mind. If you're kind of curious what kind of camera I was using, is a Canon R6. Made it to a Canon EF 100-400 version 2. And the adapter was a Canon adapter with the ND filter built into it, which is a life changer. I never really worked with ND filters, to be quite honest. I just never had the money for a proper ND filter. I really do like this photo. I'm just trying to find something a little bit different. Regards. Ooh, that looks good too. The lighting was just so soft up there because there was cloud cover for the most part, and it was just a gift from God. So All right, cool. Let's work this photo. So this photo right here is when the cars are coming back downhill, going back towards the starting line. I'm just curious. And yeah, you can see this open to the valley right down here, and it's just soft white sunlight. Couldn't ask for anything better, to be quite honest. Yep, so like I said, I'm gonna punch this blacks down. Yes, I like to have whole numbers for the most part. 15. I'm glad there's clouds here. Gives me some opportunity to work with something. Let's punch the highlights up a little bit. Just a tad bit. And then what I'm going to do, work the mask again. I'm going to be working the mask quite a bit. I just love it now. Especially doing it all by itself. I'm going to play around with these sliders a little bit. I want my objective here is trying to make the clouds a little bit darker, trying to get more definition out of it, trying to get see if I can pull in more clouds. Look at that. I mean, you don't want to go too dark, right? Then you might as well do a sky replacement in Photoshop from there. But I just want to get some more clouds in. This is where I will also play with the temperature slider. Depending, let's see, I do like the yellow. When we go to yellow, I do like the blues too. You know, we could go either way. Yes, the blue will complement the car, but I do like the yellow, just because of the mood and the vibe. Trying to paint this story that we did shot this early in the morning. I don't know, it could go both ways, but I'm going to stick with the yellow for right now. And then from here, close this out. So I'm going to make a mask which will exclude the car and the sky. So let's do that. So let's duplicate and oh wow, look at that. Oh, that's pretty cool. Let's see if they could remove the subject too. Just thinking. Not bad. It's missing some stuff here. We can add that in. So let's use the brush. Zoom in. You know, it's not perfect, but you know, it's still saving me a lot of time. Used to have to pull this into Photoshop as a TIFF, save the TIFF file, or export the TIFF file, and then go into Photoshop, pull out my Wacom tablet, and then start using the pen, and yada yada yada, and then I don't know. This is just so much better. Now sometimes I might do in Photoshop, but for the most part, I haven't touched Photoshop for my photo editing for quite a while. Yeah, if you have any ideas, I mean, if this is something you enjoy watching, let me know. I mean, maybe we could do a live stream one day. Or maybe you could send me some of your photos and just see how I would edit them. I think that would be pretty fun. I've seen other people done that before, so don't think I'm like thinking I'm pulling these ideas out of my butt. I'm not. No. I was just, like I said, I was inspired by other people. All right. Zoom out. You know what? I'm thinking maybe I should remove some of this stuff on here. I like to preserve that, but I can always do that in a little bit. Let's just see what happens. Oh, like that. So you're gonna notice too, some instances I will, I like my roads to be really dark too. But let's just back that off a little bit. Instead of negative 0.5, let's go negative 0.4. Not too bad. All right. Let's see what put some saturation in there, so it doesn't look too out of place. I haven't touched the car yet, just to let you know, and I don't think I will touch the car. That's a tough one. Let's look at the before and after right now. Boom. I mean, there's a bit more I can go into it. Man, let's just punch the car up just a tad bit. Just a tad bit. So what I'm gonna do a mask, select subject. Damn it. Or yeah, we could do that. But let's fix some of these areas where the hell. Yeah, let's fix some of these areas over here where it's selected way too much, which is fine. Come on. I do apologize if you hear anything in the background. I do live in a household with kids. You know, my wife. I have a dog. So it could get chaotic, you know. Or it sounds like a normal household. And, you know, the toilet's running in the background, so I do apologize that too. Hopefully you guys have toilets too that might leak every now and then. Even though it's not perfect, I do find this therapeutic though. It's like coloring, it's like those adult coloring books, just without the numbers. Brush, speed this up a little bit. I know it's probably driving you guys crazy watching this. Why is not using a bigger brush? So you probably wonder why I'm using Parsec also. To tell you the truth. The laptop, I have like a 500 gig SSD on here. It's not big enough to store all my photos and all that crap I have on here. So my server definitely had a lot more room and definitely a lot more horsepower. Even though it's an older Xenon processor, still a heck of a lot better than my laptop, which is the 7th gen Intel on this one, and the fan will be churning like crazy. So let's just crank this up a tad bit, 0.1. Let's crank up the whites a little bit. I'm not gonna touch the shadows. I think the shadows are good. The highlights are good. It was really, I was targeting the white. I think that's what my eye is drawn my eye. Granted, I could do something about that, but I think we're good. I think we're good. I'm not gonna mess with this anymore. I think we're 95% there. I mean, if I had to submit this right now, I think I'd be happy. So let's see the before and after. There you go. So it seems like we didn't do a whole lot, but I don't think you need to do a whole lot. A lot of these photos, I believe, or anyone I would take, unless you shot them in some directly into the sun, it just needs some minor adjustments, you know. And before that, I'm gonna go click on this over here to see what it looks like before we touch the car. As you notice, the white just went down. It looks muted now. Now let's see our final adjustments. Boom, that's it. So the whites are, you know, are brighter, but it still has that dark, moody look. I'm sticking with it. So let's see if there's any other ones. Yep, here's one I did for Andy on race day or practice. You know, so that's after, that's before. You know, look at this. It's not a whole lot of adjustments I'm doing here. You know, you got to find your secret sauce or wherever that your style is and stick with it. You know, and at the same time, I'm not trying to spend 10 hours on one image. This is this is my semi-pro job / hobby, you know. I really do like this photo. Shoot, let's work on it. Let's make this one the last one. It's about 1:02 in the morning right now. But like I mentioned, if this is something that you want to see more often, I do have a lot more photos from other events and future events that are coming up, and I don't mind, you know, sharing what I'm doing here. Hopefully, you know, help somebody out or inspire somebody with their, you know, photography / touch-up process, things like that. Yeah, there's a guy over here, the corner marshal. Might crop him out. I do like keep him in there, but screw it. If we're going to sell this for prints, I'm going to cut him out. So let's cut him out now. Yeah, boom. I don't want to cut too much. There we go. Worst case scenario, we could do a clone right here, get a little bit of the black out. I think we're fine. I'm just trying to keep as much pixels as I can. So just looking at this, I really do like the photo still, even straight out of the camera. But we're gonna do the same thing like we did on this other guy here, the previous photo. Probably punch up the car a bit, punch down the sky. The road here has been repaved. It's pretty obsidian black to me already. And then I like how these rocks are kind of dark already too. But I might punch these oranges up. We'll find out if that's gonna work. All right, so let's do this. So let's punch on the highlights a tad bit over here. But you know, I don't think that was cool. I should have already done that. You know, actually, screw it. Let's go back to 0. I admit my faults, or I think there's a better solution. I'm going to use the mask, select sky. Come on, there you go. Punch down the sky a little bit, and then we're going to keep the theme. Add a tinge. You know, that's actually pretty cool as hell. Going all the way that yellow, but let's just kick it down a little bit. I might come back to this photo and just screw with it and go all the way yellow. Alright, so we got the sky, and what I'm gonna do is work on the background now. So we're gonna duplicate this and invert mask, and then we're going to remove the subject from that this mask here. Pretty freaking good, man. I think I picked up the spoiler over here. Let's just use a brush. Just clean this up a little bit. Come on, let's try recover some of these tires. Spoiler here, since I'm already down here, screw it. It's interesting that even though a computer, software is selecting it, you would think it would have sharper lines, but it seems like it's trying to mimic a brush too, or a human using a brush to separate, the subject from the background or whatever. You would think it'd be, like I said, sharper. But I'm fine. Alright, I think we got most of it. Zoom back out. Punch down the colors. Oh, I'm feeling it. How am I going to punch this orange? Should that be with saturation? I might have to come back with a brush. Alright, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna put this down to 0. That's what I'm gonna do. I know. If you see me working in Photoshop, I love layers. And I'm kind of doing the same thing here. I've never done, color range. I think color range would probably be a good one. It might get mixed up with these oranges in the carpet. Who the hell knows? I'm just gonna do what I know best right now. So let's just select this. Like this here. Well, that's not orange anymore, but it's coming along. He's on the boat. Alright, sorry. I know. Let's use the bigger brush. Come on, man. Alright, let's zoom out. It's most of it. Alright, let's bring the exposure up for that. Punch saturation. Quite a bit. Alright, so let's go to where we add that brush in before. Let's go back. Before we added a brush. And then this is after. It's a little brighter. Not the punch I was looking for, but I'm keeping it. Alright, last thing. Select subject. And just slightly punch up the subject. Yeah, so I like it. I'm attracted to it because it's bright, but I think my critics might question me, so, which is my wife and my kids. So let's punch it back down to 0.2. Boom. What do you guys think? You know what? Let's do one more thing. So when I do these gradients, I like to follow certain things. Like, let's say the road, there's a slash here, and then just drop the exposure a little bit. Don't do too much. Boom. Okay, my kid's crying in the background. So let's wrap this up. Let's check the before and after. What do you guys think? I really do like the before. It's not front. Shoot, maybe the car could be punched up a little bit. Damn it. Let's go back. Let's just really quick. Where's the car? Boom. Let's go 0.3. Screw it. I don't care. Alright. We're done with that. Close that tab. Let's check it out. You know, regardless of the whole set, it matches, and I like it, to be quite honest. Looks kind of futuristic, but still realistic, almost. All right, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Maybe one day I do a live stream too, you know. But please let me know, comment down below, and if we do reach 100 subscribers, I know I'm not some big timer, but I'm trying to grow this channel. If we do reach 100 subscribers, I will do a giveaway for one of these prints, whatever print that you want from my gallery. I'll pay for it. All right. So tell your homies, tell your friends, tell your grandma, whatever. Sub the channel, and I will do a giveaway of some sorts. Just bear with me. I figure it out. Like, maybe it would be a next video once we hit 100, and I'd be name it giveaway. But until then, thanks for watching, and chat with you guys later. Peace.